Most women believe attraction is built through conversation, chemistry, or shared experiences over time, but psychology shows something far more unsettling. The brain decides how memorable you are almost instantly. In the first 10 seconds, a man's nervous system scans for one specific signal. If it's present, you leave an imprint that lingers long after the interaction ends. If it's missing, no amount of talking later can fully recover it. And the reason why I say no amount of talking can later recover it is because first impressions create neural pathways in the brain that function as filters for all subsequent information. Meaning once his brain has categorized you in those first seconds as either remarkable or forgettable, every interaction afterward gets processed through that initial framework rather than creating a new one. This is why you can have amazing conversations with someone after a forgettable first meeting and still never quite capture their full attention or imagination the way you would have if those first 10 seconds had been different. The brain's initial categorization is so powerful that it actually distorts how later information is received and interpreted. If you're filed under forgettable in those first moments, even your most interesting qualities later will be filtered through that lens and minimized. But if you're filed under remarkable immediately, even your ordinary qualities later will be enhanced by that initial impression. This isn't fair, it isn't romantic, and it isn't about your actual worth. It's simply neuroscience. The human brain is designed to make rapid threat and value assessments in new encounters, and those assessments happen so quickly and so unconsciously that by the time conscious thought kicks in, the categorization is already complete. This is why women who understand how to leverage those first 10 seconds create lasting impressions that transcend their actual time spent with someone, while women who don't understand this mystery struggle to be memorable even after hours of engaging conversation. The difference isn't in their overall quality as people, it's in their understanding of how male psychology processes new encounters and what specific signals in those first moments create the neural imprinting that makes someone unforgettable. Hi, I'm Gabriel Hart from My Daily Love, and in this video we'll talk about the specific things you can do in the first 10 seconds of meeting someone that create lasting psychological impact, why these behaviors work at a neurological level, and exactly how to embody them naturally without performance or strategy. Number 1, you make eye contact, then look away first. The most powerful thing you can do in the first 10 seconds is make genuine eye contact and then look away first. Not avoiding his gaze out of shyness, not staring intensely, just comfortable, engaged eye contact followed by you being the one to break it and look away. This signals confidence without need. You're comfortable looking at him, but you're not trying to hold his attention desperately. What's actually happening in his brain when you do this is recognition of confident social calibration. When you make eye contact, it signals you're not afraid or intimidated. But when you look away first, it signals you're not seeking validation or approval through prolonged eye contact. This combination, engaged but not needy, present but not pursuing, creates intrigue because most women either avoid eye contact, signaling insecurity, or hold it too long, signaling need for validation. You doing neither makes you memorable as someone with unusual self-possession, so the next time you meet someone, practice comfortable eye contact that lasts a few seconds, long enough to be genuine connection, not so long it becomes staring. And then, you look away first naturally. Not dramatically, not shyly, just the natural conclusion of acknowledging someone before returning attention to your own experience. This brief but genuine eye contact, followed by you being the one to disengage, creates psychological impact because it signals you're confident enough to look, but secure enough to look away. From what I've seen, women who master this eye contact dynamic are consistently described as confident and intriguing, while women who either avoid eye contact or hold it desperately are described as either insecure or needy. The look and look away first creates the perfect balance. Number 2, you smile slowly, not automatically. Here's what most women don't realize about smiling and memorability. A delayed smile feels intentional rather than performative, and his brain reads it as authenticity. When you smile immediately and automatically upon meeting someone, it reads as social performance or people-pleasing. But when you make eye contact first, take a moment and then smile slowly, like you're genuinely pleased after assessing rather than automatically pleasant, it creates completely different psychological impact. The reason this works so powerfully is that instant automatic smiling is what people do when they're performing friendliness or seeking approval. It's a social mask more than genuine emotion. But a delayed smile, where you look at someone, Process for a moment, and then smile because you're actually pleased reads as authentic response rather than automatic performance. His brain registers this difference unconsciously and files you under genuine rather than performing, which makes you more memorable because authenticity is rare. In practice, this means resisting the urge to smile immediately when meeting someone. Make eye contact. Take a beat. Let yourself actually register the person. Then smile if you're genuinely pleased or engaged. This slight delay makes the smile feel earned and real rather than automatic and performative. It signals that your positive responses aren't given freely to everyone, but are genuine reactions to actual people, which makes your positive response to him feel more valuable. What most women don't realize is that delayed, genuine smiles are far more memorable than instant, automatic ones. The slight delay signals authenticity that creates lasting impression. Number 3, you don't rush to fill the silence. What if one of the most powerful things you can do in those first 10 seconds is resist filling silence? When there's a natural pause in the initial greeting or interaction, and you don't rush to fill it with nervous talking when you're comfortable with momentary quiet. Silence in the first moments creates tension, and tension creates imprinting. Men remember women who can be comfortable in silence more than women who need to fill every gap. Think about it this way. Rushing to fill silence signals anxiety about the interaction and need for constant stimulation or validation, but being comfortable with brief silence, allowing a natural pause after hello before the conversation continues, not frantically filling every second with words, signals confidence and comfort with yourself. This comfort creates tension in the best way. He's experiencing someone who doesn't need constant verbal interaction to feel okay, which is unusual and therefore memorable. This looks like allowing natural pauses to exist in those first moments. After initial greetings, if there's a moment of quiet before conversation flows, don't panic and fill it nervously. Just be comfortable. Smile if you want. Look around naturally. Be at ease with the silence. This comfort makes you stand out dramatically from women who nervously fill every gap, and it creates psychological space that makes him more engaged in pursuing conversation because you're not doing all the work. Over the years, I've noticed that women who were comfortable with silence in initial interactions were infinitely more memorable than women who talked nervously to fill gaps. The silence created space that made me want to fill it, which made me invest more. Number 4, your voice is calm and unforced. While most women focus on what to say, the most important thing about those first 10 seconds is how you sound when you speak. Men register tone before words, and a grounded, calm, unforced voice instantly feels safe and magnetic. When your voice is calm, not high-pitched with nervousness, not artificially enthusiastic, just naturally grounded, it creates neurological impact that makes you memorable. Here's what's going on beneath the surface. Voice tone communicates emotional state directly to the nervous system. High-pitched, rapid, nervous voice activates slight anxiety in the listener, but calm, grounded voice creates parasympathetic activation. The listener's nervous system relaxes slightly. When you speak in a naturally calm tone in those first moments, his nervous system registers you as safe and grounding, which creates positive association that makes you memorable as someone whose presence feels good. The way you do this is by literally relaxing your throat and speaking from a grounded place rather than a nervous one. Take a breath before speaking. Let your voice come from your chest rather than your throat. Speak at a comfortable pace rather than rushing. This calm voice in the first moments creates such different impact from the nervous, high-pitched, rushed voice most women use when meeting someone that it makes you instantly memorable as someone who feels different, calmer, more grounded, safer. When I talk to men about memorable first impressions, voice tone comes up constantly. Women who had calm, grounded voices stood out as confident and magnetic compared to women whose nervous energy came through in their voice. Number 5, you acknowledge him, but don't seek approval. The most balanced first impression is created by acknowledging him clearly, but not seeking his approval. A simple hi delivered with genuine presence. No over-enthusiasm trying to prove you're friendly, no validation-seeking energy wondering if he likes you, creates the perfect impression of someone who's socially graceful but internally secure. What's really happening is communication of social confidence without neediness. When you acknowledge someone warmly but briefly, genuine hello with a smile, then natural continuation of your experience rather than anxiously waiting for his response or approval, you're signaling that you're confident in social settings but not dependent on external validation. This balance is rare. Most women either under-acknowledge, seeming cold or insecure, or over-acknowledge, seeming needy or approval-seeking. The middle ground is magnetic, so the next time you meet someone, practice clear but brief acknowledgement. Make eye contact, say hello warmly, smile genuinely. Then naturally continue whatever you're doing rather than waiting anxiously for his response or trying to extend the interaction before it's naturally flowing. This confident acknowledgement, without seeking approval, signals you're friendly but secure, which creates memorable impression of someone who's socially skilled but internally grounded. As a man, I can tell you that women who acknowledged me confidently but didn't seem to need my approval were infinitely more intriguing than women who either ignored me, insecurity, or seemed desperate for my positive response, neediness. Number 6, your body is relaxed. Here's the thing. Relaxation signals high status at a subconscious level. When your body is relaxed in those first 10 seconds, loose shoulders, open posture, physical stillness rather than nervous movement, his brain unconsciously categorizes you as high status and confident. Tension signals anxiety and lower status. Relaxation signals comfort and security. What makes this so effective is that body language is processed unconsciously before conscious thought. When he sees you and your body is visibly relaxed, shoulders down, posture open but comfortable, no nervous fidgeting or tension, his brain makes unconscious assessments about your confidence and status based purely on your physical state. Relaxed bodies suggest someone who's comfortable in their environment, which suggests social confidence and security. Tense bodies suggest discomfort and anxiety. Put simply, before meeting someone or in those first moments of interaction, consciously relax your body. Drop your shoulders, soften your jaw, stand or sit comfortably rather than rigidly. Let your hands be still rather than fidgeting. This physical relaxation creates subconscious impression of confidence that makes you more memorable because relaxation in social situations is relatively rare and therefore notable. What this means for you is that your physical state in those first moments might matter more than what you say. Relaxed body language creates positive impression that nervous body language undermines regardless of how interesting you are verbally. Number 7, you seem comfortable in your own skin. While most women perform or shrink in new interactions, the most memorable quality in those first 10 seconds is seeming genuinely comfortable in your own skin, not trying to impress with performance, not shrinking with insecurity, just being naturally yourself. This authentic self-possession is rare and therefore unforgettable. There's a deeper reason why this works. Genuine comfort with yourself reads as self-acceptance, which is deeply attractive and memorable. When you're not trying to be more impressive, more funny, more engaging than you naturally are, when you're just existing comfortably as yourself, it creates the impression of someone who's genuinely secure. Most people are performing some version of themselves they think is more acceptable. When you're just you, it stands out dramatically. This works because you should practice being genuinely yourself in those first moments rather than a performed version you think is more attractive. Speak naturally, move naturally. Respond authentically. Don't try to be funnier or more charming than you are. Just be comfortable being exactly who you are. This comfort with yourself is so rare that when someone encounters it, they remember it as remarkable because most interactions feel performative by comparison. From what I've seen, the women I found most memorable weren't the ones who tried hardest to be impressive. They were the ones who seemed most comfortable just being themselves without apology or performance. Number 8, you let him come toward you energetically. What most women don't realize about creating memorable impressions is that letting him come toward you energetically is more powerful than you moving toward him. When you don't lean in too fast, when you allow him to close the gap physically or energetically, men remember the women they move toward, not the women who pursue them. The secret is that pursuit creates investment. When you position yourself such that he has to move toward you, either physically by not closing distance too quickly or energetically by not being the one doing all the engaging, he invests effort in the interaction. That investment makes you more memorable because we value what we work for. But when you're the one pursuing, leaning in, closing gaps, doing the work, he doesn't invest, which means less memory formation. Instead of leaning in physically or energetically when meeting someone, practice holding your ground and letting him close distance. Stand comfortably. Don't crane toward him. Let him come into your space if he wants to continue the interaction. Energetically, be receptive without pursuing. This creates the dynamic where he's investing effort to engage with you, and that effort creates memorability. Remember this: you become memorable by creating space for him to invest, not by investing heavily yourself. The women men remember are the ones they had to work to engage, not the ones who did all the engaging work. Number 9, you look present, not distracted. Here's what I know about first impressions. Looking genuinely present in those first 10 seconds, phone away, eyes engaged, energy grounded, creates emotional impact instantly. When you're clearly present rather than distracted, when your attention is genuinely on the interaction rather than divided, it makes the person you're engaging with feel valued in a way that's rare and therefore memorable. The truth is that most people are distracted most of the time. Phones, internal thoughts, looking around for something better, divided attention is the norm. When you're genuinely present, phone away, eyes focused, energy directed at the interaction, it's so unusual that it creates immediate impact. Being truly seen and attended to is rare enough that people remember the instances where it happens. This translates to actually being present in those first moments. Put your phone completely away before interactions. Make mental decision to be fully there. Direct your attention to the person you're meeting rather than scanning the environment or being in your head. This genuine presence makes people feel valued and creates memorable impression because full attention is increasingly rare. The key is to understand that presence isn't a trick or strategy. It's genuinely directing your full attention to the interaction, which creates impact because it's become so unusual to receive someone's undivided attention. Number 10, you react slowly. While most people react immediately to everything, reacting slowly in those first 10 seconds creates impression of emotional intelligence and depth. Not delayed on purpose or unnaturally, but thoughtful, taking a moment to actually process before responding. Men associate this measured quality with depth and emotional maturity that makes you memorable. What's going on beneath the surface is that slow reactions suggest thoughtfulness rather than reactivity. When someone says something and you take a genuine moment to process before responding, not awkwardly long, just long enough to show you're actually thinking rather than just reacting, it creates impression that you're someone with depth who processes rather than just reacts. This depth is memorable because most interactions are characterized by rapid, reactive responses. Here's exactly how you use this. When someone says something to you in those first moments, actually hear it and take a beat before responding. Not dramatically, just naturally. Let there be a moment where you've clearly registered what was said before you respond. This creates impression of someone who's thoughtful and present rather than just reacting automatically, which makes you stand out as someone with substance. Over the years, I've noticed that women who responded thoughtfully rather than reactively were the ones I remembered as having depth and intelligence, even if the actual content of responses was similar to reactive women. The pause created impression of substance. Number 11, you don't over-explain anything. The most confident communication in those first 10 seconds is brief and clear, short sentences, clear energy. When you don't over-explain or justify yourself, when you state things simply and then stop talking. Confidence shows in brevity. Over-explanation signals insecurity or need for approval. Brevity signals confidence that what you said is sufficient. His brain is actually doing something very specific when you speak briefly, assessing your confidence based on whether you feel the need to justify or explain. When you state something simply, "I'm Sarah," with no additional justification or explanation, it signals you're comfortable with whatever you've said standing on its own. But when you over-explain, "I'm Sarah, and I'm here because my friend invited me, and I wasn't sure if I should come, but..." It signals insecurity about whether what you initially said was adequate. So when this happens, when you need to introduce yourself or respond to something in those first moments, practice brevity. Say what needs saying and then stop. Don't add justifications or explanations unless specifically asked. Let your words stand on their own. This confidence in brevity makes you memorable as someone who doesn't need approval or validation for every statement. This happens more than most women realize. Confident, brief communication is dramatically more memorable than insecure, over-explained communication, even when the content is essentially the same. Number 12, you hold his gaze when he speaks. What if one of the most powerful things you can do is hold his gaze when he speaks to you, not staring intensely, but genuine, comfortable eye contact while he's talking? This makes him feel seen, not evaluated, just genuinely heard and attended to. That feeling of being truly seen sticks in memory far longer than the content of what was discussed. There's a deeper reason why this works. Being genuinely listened to and looked at while speaking is increasingly rare. Most people are formulating their response or looking around while others speak, but when you actually hold comfortable eye contact and clearly listen while someone speaks, When they can see in your eyes that you're genuinely hearing them, it creates the powerful feeling of being seen that's memorable because it's so uncommon. This works because when someone is speaking to you in those first moments, actually look at them and listen. Comfortable eye contact, engaged expression, clearly present to what they're saying. Don't look around, don't be formulating your response, just be there hearing them. This presence while they speak makes them feel valued and creates lasting impression of an interaction where they felt genuinely seen. In my experience, I remember conversations where the person held my gaze and clearly listened far more than conversations where eye contact was broken or divided. Being seen while speaking creates powerful memory.